this past weeks, this past few days. It's really fun. I just felt like the Dogmatic engine could be utilized in this particular deck because it's done before, but I think any deck that can make Almirage or any deck that can make Link Rebo and then summon Ecclesia is insane, right? Why not take advantage of that? Because this is one of those decks that does that. You can go Anima, Link Rebo into Gardena, and then that's how you make your pill, and then you can summon the Ecclesia from your hand, or just use Nadir and use the non-Dino Nadir target you send, like whether it be Entis or Pegasus, Omega or Ash Dragon. I mean, not really Ash Dragon because you want you want to keep it in the grave because you want to do the MP search. But I just felt like it just adds another layer to the deck, similar to how it did with Altergeist, like Altergeist Dogmatika. That deck was really good as well. It was a higher card count, similar to how it is here. This is a bit more though. This is a bit like a bit more excessive. It's 60 cards, but I'll explain the logic and theory behind it because I've been trying this logic and this theory for the past year, I think couple of years. I've not really been fixated on 40, although it's a bit hard to not undermine any deck building above 40 because it's 40's been a standard and optimal way for so many years, right? Because you want to see a particular card, you want to see certain card combinations. But I'll try to explain. I can go more in depth with that when I have the deck in front of me. Let show you guys what the intention, right? The intent, right, for a higher card count deck. Okay. So Albertex, the reason I negated the Foolish is because something I noticed, and I kept occurring is that Drytron suffers a lot from having minimal Drytron names. So like similar case with Nova. If you negate Nova, it gives them one less name. Same thing with Foolish. That would have given them another name, and that would not have been ideal. You want to give them as minimal resources as you possibly can. So that was the reason behind that. Opening the one of this card's so good. Like I don't see why Dino players don't play this, even if like it's just so good. Like it pops the babies and it lets you max out the babies. Cause you have three. Like for this deck, I'm playing this, through this, and the baby's always gonna get destroyed, which is insane. Like I just don't understand why. Like it's just this card's so good. Like I mean it's debatable to play the other True King, the fire one, but I don't think like I don't know. I guess you can, but I think because the issue with Dino decks, they're always bricking with like excessive amount of UCTs, excessive amount of babies, or your play is just one Oviraptor summon. If you don't open it on Lost World, it's just Oviraptor and it gets stopped, or if it's Miss gets stopped, and it's like, okay, well you have this because the baby will be in hand, and you pop the baby. So that's another extension it's just amazing. It's simply amazing. Like it just lets you end on things you wouldn't end on if you didn't have this, which adds complexity to the deck and like higher the ceiling a little bit. I popped the UCD because I'd rather just him take my token instead. Because I wanted to like have some OTK things like also with that. End phase. This is what I mean, Ecclesia. This card's insane. It's just a roto or a spot removal. It's crazy. Desires. Oh. And the good thing about Desires is you're not scared to use multiple Desires in this build because you play 60 cards. Odds are you'll be banishing excess amount of X cards, or like a baby that you don't need, a petite you don't need, a UCT you don't need, an Ecclesia you don't need, a Nadir you don't need. So there's so many 3-ofs that you can banish that you don't really get hurt by it or punished by it. Yeah, this should be game. This should be game. Overtext is the brick in a 40 card build as well. This can be like a bit of an issue, drawing this, and that's one thing I noticed when I was playing the 40 card builds. Believe me, I did try this. Like if this would happen more frequent if he just passed. I mean I just passed, and he just summons Zen and just attacks me. Like what the fuck? Okay, I guess we both didn't do so well. But anyways, like I said, like drawing this and this with the 40 card build is much more frequent. Whereas this is meant to be not happening, but it's still happening. So which is my biggest, I guess, thing where I always preach it. Like Yugioh ratios are a myth. Like of course it gives you the extra headache of trying to like get the proper ratios, get the proper statistics, percentages. But at the end of the day, how many games are you gonna have to do for that percentage to be reality? Does that make sense? Hear that again, right? Because based off statistics and percentages, right? There needs to be a certain amount of games and a certain amount of like data to be able to be like, okay, this is the percentage that you're gonna be drawing this and this amount, right? But like, we're at the moment we're only going locals. I mean, my locals we have like 5 rounds with Swiss and then top 8 cuts. So like, technically it's like 8 rounds. So I guess you would be like, okay, that day I opened up tanker tops probably every single match, right? It's not meant to be happening, but it did. So that's the reality of that particular ratio on statistics, right? But if I went even longer, let's say I did 20 more games, then that would mean that okay, the rest of the 20 games I did not open up tanker tops, and then that's when the reality of the I guess the apparent that this is not meant to be happening. It's not happening, but I didn't get to that extent. The extent I got to was just I opened up this every single time. And that's one thing I was like thinking about, and to not be fixated on 40. Of course, there is like I guess there is logic, there is like a good like backing to that type of deck building, but I've just chose to shy away from it because it seems like so many times, oh, you have no idea how discouraging it is. You build the deck to the best of your I guess the best you can possibly construct it, right? Have the odds be with you, not against you. And then you play in a tournament and the odds are completely against you. Like, what the? You draw the garnets, you draw. It's just a nightmare. Whereas this way, you relieve a little bit of stress in that aspect of deck building, and then you play the deck. Of course, I'm not saying to do something like out of the ordinary, like okay, add a bunch of garnets. Like, no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying like, don't be afraid to increase the card count with cards that actually do stuff to kind of filter out the deck and I guess decrease the chances of you bricking as much as you normally would, right? Because that's the issue with dinos. You brick with a bunch of babies, UCTs, you open up this, and your sequences are very minimal. Oh, this is insane. You just open the one-ups. See what I mean? The one-ups. One-ups? Oh, dude. One-ups. One-ups. Very nice. Just attack my Doka. I just have to pop it. I think it's better if I just have 2 negates instead of just, you know. And then just attacking for next game. Just attacking next game. Do that in the deer. It's insane. Should be game on board, right? Yeah, it's just game on board. It's 55, 65. Yeah, I'm not sure what he's playing this. I think it's just to revive Dragoons. Like, once he summons Dragoons, if it dies, he can just revive Dragoons. I mean, it's not bad, but like... Wait, is that a red card you can search off red metal? Oh, he could! He can search it off red off this guy. That's cool. Yeah, that's game. But yeah, that's one thing I guess... I guess I always just talk about a status. This is what I mean, like... These type of hands is where typical Dino decks will just open and it's like not ideal. Like you just don't want to be seeing this, right? So by increasing the card count, by I guess filtering it with Dogmatika cards, that means you'll draw Dogmatika with a baby. So let's say for example, you open up a Nadir in this. You know how crazy that is? You know how crazy that is? You just summon this, pop the baby. I mean you summon this. Activate Nadir sends Entis pops the baby, then you get your engine going. Like how cool! It's like more diagrams. But essentially, it's more diagrams. That's insane. Ash. Look at that. I don't see why this guy got impatient. I mean, I guess he thought like, okay, he bricked, Dino's bricked, so there's gonna be a while before they get like a, you know. And that's why I felt like, but I would have kept that thing in hand. Like I wouldn't see why he just summoned that. Like, yeah, I don't know. I think I think he just got way too impatient. And this is where he tries to go for the Anaconda play. And typically, a regular Dino player would not be playing this. So that's why you felt like, oh, it's probably just like an imperm or a droplets. You know, I'll make him waste a card in his hand or on the field. But like, nope. I'm just gonna plus because I'm just gonna go. That's an Ash Dragon. Ash Dragon anti-search. That's insane. Oh, he gets his Ash back in hand next year because of Omega though. Look at that, that's so cool. Look, I drew into oh my Nadir. Oh my god. Oh my, I messed up here. If he ashed me here, I would have been in trouble, because that means I wouldn't have been able to Entis. So I'm not sure. I think he was waiting for the misc. So this is what I mean. Like niche plays like this, people don't take account for, right? Because there's no way in his mind he's thinking, okay, I gotta save the Ash for the Miscellaneousaurus, right? Miscellaneousaurus will pop the bring out Arco. Arco will pop the baby, and then I go off from there. No, and because he thought Entis is gonna pop one of his back rows, I'm gonna Ash the baby, and I should be okay. But no, that's not what happened. But nonetheless, I should have just gone 50-50 and just used Omega's effect and try attempt to banish it to prevent the Ash from getting this, right? So look, how cool is that? I don't get why he did this. Like, I don't see. I'm not sure if he's like just like, you know, like, how cool is that? How cool is that? Arco pops this, like, that's just insane. That's just insane. Look at that. That's so cool. Like, things like that are just obscurities that you're just not used. Players are just not used to seeing, and then that's how you typically win games, because they're unaware. You know, like if someone's like ignorant to like a particular play, or they can't anticipate because it's something so not so standard, you're gonna be ahead because you know something that they don't, and that's always huge in Yu-Gi-Oh. Like, you want to know something they don't. I think I messed up. I shouldn't have booked these guys. That I get, but I guess they gave me a petite for next turn. To pop, but like I was like kind of like, wait, this is not game, because like he has Aquero and Conquistador, and I'm like, well, he can pop my UCT. I'm like, oh my god, am I gonna just lose this right now? Because like I was like, okay, so he has that banish, he has that banish. Right, one of the lords is gone, so he's only juggling one, so that's fine. Effect, brings back, brings the last one. Imagine if I have a crow there. Oh, if I crowed that, it's over. I had to do it here. Otherwise, you just pop my UCT without me having the ability to pop this. Oh, he Meister. Oh, so yeah, that's. Oh, so he did have a Meister, multiple Meisters. That's probably why he did summon it, probably. Okay, so the reason why I didn't pop this guy right here, like, I could afford to lose this guy. It's the only issue would have been if he goes Vertex some way. Like, if he goes Vertex some way, and then Dream brings out goons, I'm gonna have a bit of an issue because he's gonna pop my field. I'm gonna have this and this in hand. How am I gonna clear it? So I was preparing myself for just popping the Vertex instead. Tribute set. Okay. Get this back. Get the Omega out of the hand. I mean, at this point, it's game, but I need to get a UCT on board because I know what the sets are. He can't use what's his face. I think this is against Spring Kids. This is an interesting matchup for sure because although they've been out for quite some time, I still don't really fully know how to anticipate it. All I know is that, okay, you ash the Grave Effect, assuming they don't chain block it. Or Bell's really good against them because you can add back the stuff, which is huge, like really, really huge. It launches me, I'm like, okay, what the heck? It ashes me, I'm like, okay. But look, good old this. You're getting this can pop your token as well, which is huge. Look at that. Lances me again, I'm like, okay. At this point, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna at least end with like a Doka or a Logia or something. So Doka Logia with the punishment, that's decent enough against Prank Kids because you just pop this normal summon. But I think I got Dweller. I'm pretty sure I got. Oh no, no, where do I? Yeah, send that. Dear, look at that. It's just insane. And then the punishment. Crazy, dude. Yeah, I'm just a big fan of this deck. Like, oh, I was on Dueling Book when I was first trying it, trying to figure it out. It didn't do so hot the first couple games, but then I just picked up Steam. Like, it got like built up the subconscious sequencing, right? Because that's something you have to develop when you're playing a deck optimally. You have to engrave it into your brain, like subconsciously know that this particular hands give you this, and then and they do that. This is what they're capable of, so you can anticipate and hold on to certain things, right? And that's just what I was figuring out the first couple games, and then I went on like a 10 plus win streak on Dueling Book, and it got to like over 1K rating. I was like, oh, it's cool. I really like it. So then kept playing it. Then once the build was right, I ended up putting it on Omega so I can get you guys these replays. This is pretty cool. This guy. I popped this. I'm not sure if this was any relative. I'm not sure if for any of you pranking players. I'm not sure that I was right popping this guy to let him have a less material, you know, and just have him fuse with these two. I'm not sure if that's correct. Let me know in the comments. I'm not sure. I just figured that if he uses his hand, it's better than using the field because it's depleting. So yeah. Oh, dude! Oh, that was a long. I didn't think that chain was that long. Holy crap! That was insane. What the heck? Wow, that was crazy. It's a long chain. Giant Rex is huge. 26. UCT. Oh my. Look at that. One of the rare occasions. Not rare occasions. I've summoned this guy so many times. But this guy's just good because right now it's like so many backroad decks and negating traps is huge. Look at that. Just UCT's just there, man. It's just there. Like you can't be sure about it. Okay. Just take some damage. You'll be fine. You can go to game. You can go game 2, game 3. But this is game 3. I think this is game 3. Pretty sure it is. These are all mixed. But I'll go ahead and show you guys the deck list because it's really fun. Like I really enjoy it. And I'll explain the theory behind more about like the higher card count because that's what I've been doing these past few decks. But let's go ahead and show you. Okay, so here's the deck list. Okay, like I said, it's gonna be a higher card count list, so it's gonna be really fat, right? So the only issue would be like having to play it in real life and having your opponent shuffle it. That's gonna be like the biggest, I guess, like annoyance, right? Or just obnoxious of having to do it round after round or game after game. But other than that, it's just amazing the variance of it. It's just really cool. I really like the style of it. Okay, so first off, you have triple conductor. Standard, you play 2, right? Because you don't really want to break into it, but it's a higher card count deck, so what happens here is that everything gets filtered, and you put cards in between the dinos. So typically, instead of opening of this baby, and like Oviraptor, you put in like the one-ofs that are meant to be consistency boosters, like Diagram, Set Rotation, Terraforming 1-for-1, Fullest Burial, and then the Dogmatika cards, right? So that's meant to alleviate that particular issue, which is what I noticed, which was like a big deal. So triple conductor is just amazing, just an amazing boss monster. And then of course you have your triple Oviraptor. It's just an amazing card, just gets you any dino you want. It's just insane. It's a reborn as well, which is huge. Then of course you have your triple Miscellaneousaurus. The reason why the deck's insane, right? I think if this was gone, the deck just would not be good. Like it would not be good. Like the sequences are so simplistic that they need these type of like I guess unfair type of I guess support, because without this, yeah, okay, imagine this, right? Okay, all the babies will trigger Nibiru. Nibiru, like that's just huge. Like it'll just be another deck that loses to Nibiru. I was like, what? That'd be pointless. You can make Doka if you can, maybe, but like if this is gone, the deck just would not be the same at all. It just wouldn't. And of course you have your babies, right? You have your petite Pteranodon, right? Triple. You're maxing these out because it's a hard card deck, so you're I guess you're allowed to. Um, it's just insane. Like there's so many ways to pop it. These guys pop it. Diagram pops it. Litho pops it. Nadir pops it because you said Entis, and it's just so many ways to pop these guys. Miss gets you this guy. It's like so many ways to be able to just get these guys off. And like, why would you not play this? This is like dude, this and this is it's broken. Like it's hard to lose a game when you open up this and multiple babies. It's just hard. How are you gonna lose that game? You're just not going to. And then of course you play, like I mentioned before, the Argos, right? Because they pop the babies. So it makes Misk even better because Misk is just a one card. This guy, it's huge, right? And then you have your one ofs, of course. You have your Litho. Like that is, this is basically this, basically. Overtext because it's the back row like format, like where there's a lot of decks that can play back row and you just want to be able to negate traps, and that's huge right now. Of course, Pank, and then of course your Giant Rex. So typically in a 4 card build, you would like play two of this, and it'd be kind of annoying the fact that you can have the possibility of opening this in a lower card con deck, because like that it's lower card con deck. So I guess going by percentages, you'd see it most likely that you open one of these, right? But since it's a higher card con deck, you'll see the other card instead over this. Of course, there's still a possibility because it's Yu-Gi-Oh. Like you might open up this, you might not, depending on how many games you play and how many, I guess what statistics you're going by, right? Let's say for example, like I said in the video and in the replays, I said that. Let's say you go to locals, right? Because I'll use my locals for example, right? Like if my locals is like 5 rounds of Swiss, and then you have top 8 cut, right? So top 8, top 4, and then the final. So technically it's 8 rounds, right? But in those 8 rounds, let's say those 8 rounds, you open up Pain every single game, right? It's not meant to happen. It's not likely to happen, but you did, right? So let's say you use that as data, as a sample, like a sample size. Okay, I open up this one out of every game out of all the 8 rounds, right? So that's insane. That's crazy. But you own that percentage only becomes reality on that particular data, right? But let's say you play like 10 more games and you don't open this at all, right? Then the ratio or the statistics or the percentage of that being reality would change, right? But the reality is you open this every single game for those 8 rounds. So that's your data right there. So it's like it can change. Like of course you can use it as a guideline, as a blueprint of how things are meant to, I guess, be likely to happen. But like it's just crazy how many times people open up one of it's like what the heck. So I'm not getting too stressed about that is something I've really considered over these past few years, because like you want to build your deck optimally, right? Of course you want to have like the odds with you, not against you, and you have to go get really peculiar with your ratios, like oh, one of this, two of this, you only need one of that, this needs to be like there is logic to that because it's I guess ratios but like the way the deck's built, it's not meant to be I guess that's not meant to be compromising the deck itself without it already having its flaws, which was what I pointed out, like opening up babies with not ways to pop into babies, opening up this, right? So this is just increasing the card count, adding another engine to be able to alleviate that particular thing. So you throw these into the mix, right? You put like this in between a baby and conductor. That means you're not completely dead, right? Because you can just have something to play other than just like okay, pass, just with a hand trap. Then you have your Dogmatika engine, right? Ecclesia, amazing. Fleur de Lis, super cool. Then you have your Ash Blossom, which is your hand traps. Right? You have Bell. This is basically right now. This can do what that can do, in its own way, of course, right? And which is why it's pretty amazing right now. Like Crow's quite a big deal right now. When they try to preemptively crow your Misk, you just do that. When they try to preemptively do it on with a Conquistador or Hakuero, you just do that. You can just bell the Scarlet as well, bell the Nadir, Searches, bell the Gamma. It's so good. But yeah, it just basically is almost the identical card. Basically, it's like the cousin. okay, so you play it, of course. This is like inherently just amazing in this deck, right? Because you can just go. It's like you force your opponent, like, oh, you want to ash me? Like if you ash me, you're gonna lose because you lose 2 cards. You're gonna minus with the ash, and then I'm gonna just rip another card, and then I'm gonna still combo off. That's just that's just crazy. And then you have your driver, of course, the garnets. Then of course you have your consistency cards, like your power cards. You have your desires, triple desires. Drawing 2 is always good. Like it's always good, especially when you have open up babies and all you need is a misc or a way to pop the babies. This just gets the job done. And then of course you have Nadir. This is basically more diagrams because you summon a baby, set Entis pops the baby, and then you get your combo going, which is insane. And then it gives you a non-dino target, which is huge. Sometimes that's all you're missing. Sometimes a non-dino target, which is amazing, right? And then of course you have more consistency card, which is fossil dig, like there's so. It just makes it absurd. Imagine this was a 4-card build, right? It's just, oh my god, like what would you cut? Like you wouldn't be able to cut. So it's everything. There's no inconsistencies apart from what I just explained to you, and apart from those one-ups that are not likely to happen. But if it does, that's just an unfortunate. I guess. That's just unfortunate, but it'll be just as likely if you were to play 40-card build to have that unfortunate circumstance come up, right? But yeah. And then you have your double evolution pill, maxing this out as well, once again, because of this, and it's a hard card count, so you're not going to see multiples. It's just rare to see multiples at once, and it's not going to happen. Then, of course, you play your Lost World. This and Overraptor is just insane. It's insane. Then, of course, you have your one-ups, right? This is what I mean by adding those filler cards that are meant to be doing something that the deck's intended to be doing, right? Like popping babies, getting all Lost World, popping more babies, you know. So basically, you're playing 1, 2, 3, 4 lithos, right? Because they all search the diagram, basically, right? And I know some of you are gonna be like, oh, you're playing that, or you're playing desires, but they're just, once again, you don't need to do this. You don't need to search this. If there will be times where you banish this, or you banish this and you draw this, but that's the risk I'm willing to take because the risk is worth the reward. Because if this was not an option, you would not have the extension, the potential extender that you would just get you to where you need to go. And I feel like the chances of banishing this and drawing into this is really low. Like it's really low if we're going by statistics, right, or the percentages. So I feel like it's worth it, right? But if you look at it all as a whole, there's technically 4 ways to get to litho, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And of course you have more one-ups. Foolish Burial, it's just sends Giant Rex, it sends Misk, it sends Overtext, which is insane. This one card does 3 things. It's amazing. And then 1 for 1, it gets you to Arco, because all you want to do is just get to Arco if you have babies in hand. Because if they ash your Misk or if they interrupt your Misk, then you want to be able to still get to the Arco, right? Because like the minute it might seem depleting because you're discarding card, but you will generate more resources by having the OV pop the baby multiple times than if you were to not have this. And then of course you have your one of Call by the Grave, just persistence, just to get your stuff going, right? So look at the deck, right? This is like has a lot to do with like a psychological, like your psyche, I guess, as well. Because like if you're a half glass full person, you'll see what I mean. You understand. But if you're like a really pessimistic person, you're thinking about the worst case scenario. You're thinking about opening up all the babies and all, like you just already thinking like, what, that's so bad. But look at the possibilities of what you can do, right? And of course, punishment trap, amazing. Just pop if you summon the Dino, right, with Lost World, you give him a token, you can pop your token, which is huge. Like it's just a consistent. It's another diagram basically. It's just more diagrams, more way to pop your babies, which is what the deck's intention meant to be. Overwhelm your opponent by popping a lot of dinos. And that's basically the main deck. I'll put the link in the description so you can download it and just play it, try it out, so you see what I mean. And then of course you have your extra deck. You have your access code. You have your unicorn. Your Phoenix. I was debating on playing Cerberus, but I ended up cutting it because I wanted extra was getting kind of tight. Your Secure Gardener, you're playing your Link Karibo, you're playing your Almirage. This because you summon the baby. Summon a baby, link it away the baby, go this way, and then you have your Peel Life, which is huge. It comes up more than you think. Then Anima because Almirage, right? Then of course you use your other cards. I guess Nadir targets, but you can make it with Gamma as well. I'm missing a Lambda. I need to get a hold of a Lambda. That's the 15th card. Then of course you have Pegasus. This is not Deer target. It's just spin cards, which is always cool. Lagia, Doga, Dweller, and then more Deer targets, just basically. I mean, yeah. Ash Dragon and Entis. Pretty simple, right? It's like just try it, man. Don't be too worried about it being above 40. Just give it a shot. You see what I mean? Like same thing with the Solid deck. I was doing pretty well with that deck as well. It's a 50 card deck. Same thing with the Altergeist Dogmatika one. That one's a 50 card deck as well. And then just trying to normalize that and have it be a new perspective for you guys, because it's really cool, man. You don't have to stress as much with the ratios when building your deck. You'd be like, okay, well this makes sense. This makes like logical sense, right? Like this, they all have synergy with each other, so it shouldn't be a problem increasing the card count, which is something I encourage you guys to try out, because I'm having loads of fun with that way of deck building. But that's gonna be it. Hopefully enjoy the video. Like, subscribe if you haven't, and thanks for watching.